Let's go! It's good seeing Miles back on the sideline, but the man of the hour is Garrett Nussmeier. So this is Garrett Nussmeier's first snap. And Jake Peetz does a really smart thing. The analytically smart play to do on first down is throw the football. Deion Smith here, BTJ, and Jaray. So 3 very talented wide receivers, and we have Josh Williams here as the personal protector. So this is just a mild criticism of LSU. They do like to spend a lot of time pre-snap getting the right play, which can really stress out an offensive line that's struggling, that has to stay in a stance for a long period of time. Also, whenever you do a lot of these checks here, it does force the quarterback to have to look at the sideline for a long period of time. And as you guys see, when Garrett actually looked again post-snap, then he looks at the sideline again, the safety actually moved a little closer to the line of scrimmage. When you play defenses that roll coverage and do more games pre-snap, it does become a little harder. So, of course, LSU is checking into a different play. We get Cole Taylor to the left of the formation, and look at what actually happens. This safety actually rolls closer to the line of scrimmage, and we have a more packed box, which tells us what? McNeese thinks on the first play of Garrett Nussmeier's LSU's career that they're going to try and run the football. So like what LSU does, they go single high safety. And this corner bails here, and he is running with Deion Smith. Now, you can't see it because of the bar. Garrett Nussmeier pre-snap determined, hey, this corner's in press man. I like Deion Smith a lot. We were both early enrollees. We're both true freshmen. I want Deion to get his shine. I want to get my shine right off the gates. But this is what happens in college football. Instead of press man, they actually back out into a variation of cover 3. Okay? So these corners are bailing with these wide receivers. And you notice Garrett Nussmeier pre-snap determines that he's just going to chunk this football deep. And it is a beautiful throw, all things considered. Not the absolute best route here by Deion. You want to always give your quarterback more room to work with on the sideline. But also pre-snap, we did have Deion lined up pretty wide to the outside as well. So we get a good deep throw here from Garrett Nussmeier into a situation here where the wide receiver didn't even generate that much separation, but this ball right here is a very accurate ball, even though it was incomplete, and even if he caught it, his foot was out of bounds, okay? Here's what happens, okay? Once this safety entered the box and it became single high coverage, once you see single high and you lock on a receiver, that's where the safety is going to go, okay? So, if you know this, what you should do is manipulate this deep safety, who you can't see here, knowing that he's going to come over here, pump fake, and then go through your progressions. And as you will see, as this ball is floating through the air, boom. Where the ball should have gone is Brian Thomas Jr. runs a beautiful route. Beautiful. And obviously Nuss has more than enough arm to make this throw. Once he saw that the safety went over here, he should have gone to a second read. And this is obviously a really bad miss, okay? But this is what true freshmen do, okay? They make mistakes such as this one. And forcing this ball on first down also isn't smart. It's a low percentage throw. You know when you see single high that the safety's going to be able to come over and make the throw if you lock in that entire time. So if you actually throw this football there, it's not smart. You could have even hit your underneath right here and picked up 5 yards. But once again, you'll see it here. Look at where this ball was actually placed, though. Okay? Look at this. Look at this. Right there. It was right in the hands. Okay? So now we get here. Once again, checking the play at the line of scrimmage. And they load the box here. We're in 6-man protect, so we should be fine. Okay. They bail. One guy bails. And we're protecting this pretty good. Okay? All deep routes here. Very interesting call by Jake to run all deeps. Okay, on second down again. You can tell he's trying to stretch the field with Nuss. And this is what he does. This is really good quarterback play. Okay? Doesn't force anything. Makes the easy throw. This was actually a type of throw he made a lot with his wide receiver in high school at Marcus High School, J. Michael Sturdivant, who is currently a true freshman at California, Berkeley. Go Bears. Go Cam Jordan. Okay? I like that they put his hometown, Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's really cool. 6'2", 172. Ball is snapped. We hand it off here to Josh Williams. Okay? Good handoff. In comes down hard. Good hard finish right there by Josh. Next step here is obviously this is a handoff all the way. This isn't even a zone read. He is reading and holding this end. Next step, though, and this is something, Max, as far as zone read is concerned, I think Garrett is the slightly better athlete when it comes to being a runner. The next step is obviously holding and just pulling this, okay? So that'll be the next step in development, but right there on a 3rd and 1, it's handoff all the way. So that's going to be key no matter who the quarterback is moving forward, getting that zone read where the quarterback keeps it. Ends last couple of years have just been able to crash down so hard to defend it. This was something, Joe was able to do in 2019 very effectively. Let's see what happens here. We're handing this football off. No, we are not. We're play action faking. And Nuss, this is the golden, this is what we want. Okay? Nuss rolling out to his right. This is what he does better than pretty much any freshman quarterback you'll see. Throwing on his off foot, that's just part of his game. Very Zach Wilson-esque. He reminds me so much of Zach at a BYU now with the Jets. And look at where this ball is placed. Okay? Tough catch for Jaray. It did get deflected. It did also hit him in the hands. Jaray will tell you he's got to catch that. Play action fake. All right. Nuss rolling out to the right. First down. I like being aggressive. Look at that. That's a hold right in front of the official. He doesn't call it. That's bad, bad, bad. I mean, dear Lord. And they had been calling holding a lot. Either way, just look at the form. Throwing on his off foot. Once again, that's just part of Nuss's game. When you recruit him, that's just always going to be a part of his game. He's a gunslinger. You see, it does get tipped. You could see, and then one, I think, even gets a piece of it. Here on this, okay, this play action fake, we had just ran it with Williams. Once we have this contain, okay, and you see that the coverage is this tight, just run this. Take these yards, okay? That's just too much open space to not just plant and just go, okay? You're gaining no less, especially since it's man coverage. Always know if you see man coverage like this, you're always going to run for more yards because your back is going with the receiver, especially if all your receivers are running deep routes, okay? So just run this. Just take these yards, run it. Once again, the ball is just perfectly placed, though. Look at that, okay? Still, a better safety might intercept that, okay? Once again, a lot of changing of the play at the line of scrimmage. Blitzer's coming hot. How do you handle it? You break the contain. Well done. Okay? Now we get Nuss again in his natural habitat, rolling out to the right, and this time he has someone pressing down on him. Just run it again. Okay? There's nothing there. Thank God he did not try and throw this ball. He thinks he can put the ball in any tight window, and I kind of like that. Kind of see that he thought about this, okay? So with this guy barreling down, obviously a throwaway is not the absolute worst right here. So he's still trying to find something to get the football down the field. But when you get to about right here and you know it's 2nd and 10, I can understand on 3rd and 10 or especially on 4th and 10, But even on 3rd and 10, if you know that none of these none of these balls are going to be completed, more than likely they'll get intercepted, just run as hard as you can towards the sideline. And it's kind of like this with the last play, especially when LSU only has 2 scholarship quarterbacks. Protect your body, slide, or just run out of bounds and pick up just a few more yards. So we get to here, and, he's fading out. Smart move not to take the sack and just throw this ball away. And this is the thing. You end up taking a big hit right here. Sometimes you can overextend plays. There are some quarterbacks who do such a great job protecting themselves while also being an effective runner. Jalen Hurts is someone that does that pretty well at the next level. Russell Wilson. And Nuss, while he might not be that level of an athlete, not as fast as those guys, might not even be as fast as Burrow, he is mobile enough to gain some yards and be a threat, especially at the college level. Attacking, but still a run on 1st or 2nd would make this a far more manageable 3rd, okay? So once again, we take a long time to get the play in. I'd rather my quarterback not look that late to the line of scrimmage just so he can see what's going on. And allows him more time to actually process the information that's going on right in front of him. All right, so he gets the snap here, and we actually run very interesting route combinations here. Trying to get Kayshon on a corner route here, all right? Look at the confidence, okay? This is one thing I really like, all right? And he sits in this pocket. He doesn't bail. Okay? Smart move. If you have a clean pocket, don't bail. He steps into this, okay? You can throw to Beche here to make it a manageable 4th, and potentially he catches and gets upfield for a 1st. These route combinations, though, are very weird for this reason. We're all running 3 crossers all in pretty much the exact same area. Okay? Maybe that is by design to get Kayshon on this corner route, and look at where this ball is placed. Perfect. Right in between there, and Kayshon just can't bring it down. He did have to wait on it just a little. Once again, this is the same thing as the other 2 throws, okay? It was accurately placed. We are throwing the football down the field. We're pushing, we're stretching the defense, but I would still take the more high percentage plays. In that case, Beche was one of those options, okay? Since it was the end of the quarter, we don't get a replay, but we'll bring it back here. But once again, I like the ambition, okay? I like that he just rips it. I like that he's processing the defense, okay? His first look was left, and then he sees that they roll into 1 high like they did on 1st down. Okay? So now, once again, now it's open. Kayshon's open 2. That's a defensive lineman back in Kayshon. I'm in Jaray. Once again, this ball was catchable. Good job of Kayshon fighting back. Number 4, Joe Dumars makes a good play, even though it's not Joe Dumars. This is one of those situations where he fires off way too aggressively. He leans in. He's probably a little tired, and he gets swim moved, okay? You saw that in our film study yesterday. This is what Jaquelin Roy and Mason Smith did against their guys. If you give up an easy swim move up the middle, this was my go-to move, okay? I would oftentimes light up on a guard or a center as a DT. If that center leaned, you swim every time. It's nearly impossible to block. So, honestly, this is all on Liam because Ed Ingram trusted Liam to make this block, and Ed actually goes to help pick up on this blitzer. This is 100% on Liam Shanahan, and it's a bad miss. I'm glad he didn't hold him, but basically you kind of sort of have to so your quarterback doesn't get killed. Okay, so now we get the 2nd down play. And now they're getting really exotic. Okay, so they get the blitz, and now we're getting layers here. And, once again, this is what really can be challenging as a quarterback when these delayed blitzers come, okay? And that's essentially what happens here. And they call a perfect play call for this. So we get this twisting in coming off the edge. And not only does this twisting in provide pressure on Nuss, it does slow down Cole Taylor's route here. Now, I don't like these screens to Cole Taylor. It resulted in an interception against UCLA. He did get a little unlucky that the timing of that delayed blitzer really got in the way of his route. Good throw by Nuss here, but once again, I just don't get it. Okay, this went for 1 yard. We have him in the open field, and he just easily goes down. So here we are. It's 3rd and 14, and I'm actually going to skip forward. Okay, I want you to notice the play clock here. Our offensive linemen are in a stance at the 42nd mark, okay? They're tired. They have been playing a full game. They got beaten around against UCLA, and a lot of these guys actually, only 2 of them played really last week. 3 of them actually. But so notice the time right here, and we move ahead here to when the ball is actually snapped, okay? So we're getting ready to snap. That is 17 seconds. Our offensive line was in a stance, okay? Only difference from the last slide you saw to right here is that we moved TDP in. So imagine playing a full game, and just wherever you are, just if you want, if you're watching this on mobile or a desktop or whatever, just wherever you are, just try and squat for 17 seconds, okay? Just squat like this for 17 seconds. It kind of sort of begins to burn, okay? And then imagine this for, you're in the 4th quarter of this game. It's a little warm. It could be brutal on your offensive line that's already struggling, okay? So McNeese actually decides to bring only 4, and the reason why we brought TDP in is to help chip this end. So guess what happens? Once this end gets chipped, Charles Turner kind of loses his spatial awareness here, because while this end did get chipped, this was actually a twist technique. Now Turner needs to pick up this player right here. He gets off balance, and they're splitting right there. And then Marlon Martinez, if you watch the Max Johnson film study, can get bull rushed a little too easy at that right guard spot. So this was just bad all around, okay? Once again, I would have liked to have seen Dellinger a little bit earlier. We get this chip, really good stuff from TDP, but now we're splitting right here, and we're past it. But lucky enough, Garrett Nussmeier, as a tackle, when you have a right-handed quarterback like Nuss, it is okay to give up interior pressure because you know he's going to break it. You just don't want to do it too many times, okay? So now Nuss is trying to make a play here on 3rd and 14. Nuss is trying to make a play. He's looking downfield. Once again, we don't have the all-22. He's saying, go, go, go. So he stops, and then he actually just hits Cole Taylor right here. Look at the sidearm delivery. Fire right on the money. Good hands by Kole. And then, look, no wasted movement. Good stuff right here by Kole. Lost his balance, though, here. But he's 6'6", and his athleticism has been in question a few times. We need you to catch this, keep your feet, and he did have space to do something with this. And that's just going down way too easy. Okay? Once again, it's a tough play, but we're LSU. I just rather see Bech be the full-time tight end or just play him full-time at wide receiver. He just needs to be on the field more. Okay? So then it gets to 4th and medium. Good job by Nuss to get some yards there. But I love this, man. I just love good teammates. Jack Bech in that number 80 uniform, even though he wasn't in on the play, he's one of the first people at the sideline encouraging Nuss. Nuss does that with a lot of his teammates as well. You just got to love these kind of guys. Not going to lie, Jack Bech reminds me a lot of Jarvis Landry. Just in his play, just in his demeanor. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but they're elite athletes. They play really fast. You just got to freaking love that, man. I also love Kole, okay? This is good stuff from Kole, all right? Kole's not playing a lot right now. He's not getting the snap share he was getting at the end of last season. And there he is just encouraging Nuss there. I freaking just love that, okay? Once again, you see Kole, I think this is Colin D'Angelo, an analyst, just motivating Nuss. Tell him to stick in there. I love this. Alrighty, so Nuss comes back out here. We see the same thing. They are backing out. After showing press, they are backing out. 1st and 10. We're handing the football here to Corey Kiner. Now, let's spend some time talking about Corey. I've gotten a lot of comments that he is the best back right now. Now is the time to be the most skeptical of running back play. This is an FCS team that's in the fourth quarter. So backups have happened, or backups are in, injuries are happening, the game is out of whack. So once again, you do want to really evaluate this film, but also take a look at it with an asterisk, okay? So once again, we get this handoff here, and what actually happens here is Xavier Hill gets a whiff here. He is the only person that blows his assignment. However, okay, this is why I want to see Armani Goodwin play the running back out of shotgun. This is what he did in high school at Hewitt-Trussville. Corey Kiner, I believe his splits were more as a traditional running back getting a handoff. Where the cut actually is right here, okay? We get really good blocks right here. Okay, we are aided by a stunt to the right side, okay? And the key block, as you see, we're washing these guys out, and look at the size of this hole. And Ed Ingram is dominating his guy, okay? The only guy who whiffed was Xavier Hill. But here's the good thing about his whiff. His whiff happened to the inside of this play side end. So where the mistake was made was actually by Kiner. Okay? You got to take this handoff and right through here. Okay? See that hole? Now, you would have had this linebacker scraping, so it would have been one-on-one versus this backer right here, but he makes the wrong read here. Okay? Clyde was really good at this read. Najee Harris was really good at this read. What you want to do is look at this defensive end. If this defensive end crashes to the inside, that's where you bounce back here to the outside. But the opposite actually happened. Unless this play call is telling Corey Kiner on this run, it's an automatic cutback. And sometimes that is the case. But more often than not, on this handoff, your first read is to see if the play side hole opened. It did. Ed is dominating this defensive tackle, even turned him to the inside. And yes, we got a whiff here. You should have gone through here, okay? Instead, he tries to cut back on him, and 40 makes a good open field tackle. I want to see Goodwin get handoffs out of shotgun if he's fully healthy. All right, so we pick it up. We don't get any rush yards on first down. We get a little lucky here that they bring a safety here in what I like to call no man's land. LSU did a lot of this last year. What is the safety supposed to be doing here? I don't know. I don't know why you don't just play him back and give safety help over the top. So just a note, McNeese's defense is very similar to LSU's defense in that they're pretty easy to read pre-snap. So Nuss sees that the safety is just way too close to the line of scrimmage, so he knows he has Deion Smith one-on-one over the top. Very easy read. You always just throw this up. Okay, Deion's about even with this corner, and he did not bail at the line of scrimmage like he had been. So we get a perfect recipe here. We get a decent throw. It's a little pixelated, but we were able to draw a bang-bang 50-50 pass interference penalty here. And if he wasn't tugged, does he get closer to this ball? I don't know. okay? But still got a little lucky that it was called, and we get a first down. Alrighty, we get to here, and the guy I want you to focus on this play is Jack Bech. I mean, if there was an offensive MVP, it'd be this guy, because he puts on tape here that he blocks this type of block. Cole Taylor really struggles with this type of block. So this is Jack Bech's first game really blocking as a tight end. And you'll see here that this run is actually going to the right. And the first person I want you to focus, just Jack Bech. We leave this backside in unblocked. And look at how low he gets. And he kicks this guy out this way. Notice how he just stuns this guy to where the only way he can get around this is going this way. This is not perfect form, okay? One thing we don't want to do, this would have been a leg whip if it was called. This wasn't necessary, though. And this is actually not bad, okay? So once again, no leg whip. We don't want the 15-yard penalty. It would have been from the spot of the foul. But still, for his first pulling rep that I've really seen, this was actually really good, okay? So now, Corey Kiner says, look, on first down a minute ago, I tried to cut it back up. This time I'm just going to take it through the hole, and he runs perfect here, okay? Martinez gets a little piece. The stiff arm is just vicious, throwing this guy off. Once again, this is a really tired McNeese State defense in the fourth quarter of a blowout, and he's just carrying people. Good, strong finish, okay? Good job to see Xavier Hill all the way down here helping this. We got all our offensive linemen just getting downfield. Perfect. Perfect all around. I want to go back to here and show you why this block is so important right here by Jack Bech, okay? Because let's just say Corey Kiner decided to stop and cut backside. And let's just say these defensive tackles were just coming really hard this way. The reason why this block is so important is if that was the case and we were just washing guys down, if Corey Kiner wanted to make a cutback like he wanted to on that first down, that also would have been there because Ed is washing guys down. So this cutback would have been there too. So that's why that block is so important, because it gives you options as a back. This time Corey did make the right decision, though, just to take these yards and go where the play is designed. So because of this ESPN graphic, we don't get to see the snap here. But now let's see how Jack Bech blocks at tight end on just a traditional run. We get a great double right here, and this is a Corey Kiner touchdown. Perfect double. And then Bash, he is bashing people, fights off this double really well, and look at how he's just kicking this guy out. You can't block this any better. So, once again, it is just one game. It is McNeese State, but just based on this film, based on what you can do with him at tight end, it is time for Jack Bech to be the full-time tight end. He gives you everything. All right, so we get our double. We're getting exactly what we want here. Where the mistake was, if there was one, Liam did a good job turning this guy inside, okay? This is a really difficult block for the center to make. And what you want to do is, if they get a good jump on you, which this tackle does, once again, that's just too much penetration, just turn him inside. So we get him off balance. The issue, though, is because there was so much penetration, it actually tripped Marlon Martinez, okay? And Marlon Martinez's job was to get play side of 93, who was the backside defensive tackle. So you notice he gets knocked off balance, and everybody is blocking their guy perfectly except Martinez. And it wasn't really his fault because we were giving up too much penetration here. And this is the issue with the LSU running game. If four guys block perfect, it's always just one guy making a mistake or someone else is just tripping. And honestly, 93 was in position to make this tackle. But Corey Kiner, one thing I really like about his running style is, for a true freshman, this is excellent, not wasting too much movement. Plant and get vertical when you see that hole. Okay, notice he didn't just drift this way. He plants and gets upfield. But 93, if he would have just dove right here, he potentially could have made this tackle. Okay? He doesn't. Kiner outruns him. So the question you have to answer is, would DeMarvin Leal of Texas A&M make this play? Would a better defensive tackle have made this play? Potentially. But good job by Corey evading him. And this is what I love, man. Coy Moore, who isn't getting targets, isn't getting much playing time, he is making his reps count as a blocker. Good blocking downfield. Was there a hold there? No. Let it go. Okay? And then, boom, we got to make the safety miss. Make him pay for coming in soft at you. He does. And we're running this bad boy in untouched. Well, up on our 2 feet. Good stuff all around. Okay? Turnt, baby. We're turnt. Let's go. We got fans back in the stands. Got something to cheer about here. Good stuff. Aeropostale shirts. Really? We're still wearing these in 2021? I love this from Malik Neighbors. And nothing against Aeropostale. Where would you want to wear? Okay? I love this. Okay? We're amped. We're fired up. Malik Neighbors hadn't even gotten a chance to play, and he's always one of the first people to fire people up. I just love that attitude. John Trey, too. It's being a good teammate. Always keep a mental notice of who the first players are to celebrate. I think that's Max. There's a few others. TDP, I love that. Just got to love it, man. Corin Norman in there. And they said it was Jordan Tolles because of jersey number match. And it was a 21-yard TD. Now, is the number 21 retired? I don't know. Alrighty, game is in hand, and we got a bunch of backups in. Okay? Francione, Jack Mashburn in a tight end, and now we have Marcus Dumerville. Really good spot for him. So right guard is Marlon Martinez. That's his high school teammate. From St. Thomas Aquinas, we have BTJ up here, and then Alex Adams at the bottom of the formation. So what do? Well, we run the play that's been working. Hand off to the right. We get a not too great pass off on this double. Marlon Martinez misses this block. Maybe Dumerville could have done more here. Probably a little too soft on that initial double. But that Martinez still has to do a better job. Okay? We also have a new center in, Charles Turner. I wish they would have gone to this a little bit quicker just to see more reps at Charles Turner. Interesting, he decided to keep the glove on. Rarely do you see non-barehanded snap centers. So we get a double right here, and we miss this double, okay? But we do get a good second level right here. Good job, Mashburn, kicking this out, getting a pancake. Next level, good job by Dellinger, who's now in at left guard. And because that double was not too great, we were able to get chased down. And look at this finish by Deli. Gotta freaking love it, man. Flatten him. Be mean. Be vicious. I love it. So we get to the next play here. New center means high snap, and that is exactly what we get here, which throws off the timing of this RPO. Okay? So the first mistake on this play is Marcus Dumerville. Okay? So if you're a backup offensive tackle, gets beat to the inside, which was an issue for him in the spring game as well, and this is why and it's kind of like just a pass-fail grade. Can I put you in a game at the SEC level? And you notice he just whiffs this guy so bad. It's just such a gigantically bad whiff, especially on an RPO where on a high snap. And you see 40 is just coming downhill. And I don't know if Nuss felt this guy coming. So at the last second, he decides to pull it on this RPO and throw the ball to Jack Mashburn. Not necessarily the best route by Jack. Needs to be running a little bit harder. Francione was also open if he wanted it. So Nuss throws it and almost gets cuts off. We need you coming at this ball hard, and it gets broken up. Okay? The issue here is Dumerville is saying, hey, was this your fault? Are you supposed to be blocking this guy inside? This guy went to the inside of me. I don't know. It's just strange. All right, here's a BTJ drop. I say drop. I actually put this a little bit more on Nuss. Okay? Ball is snapped. Good snap this time, right in the breadbasket, okay? And first thing here is, right out the jump here, you could argue that this ball should have gone right here, okay, right here to Kiner. But now Nuss is reading to see if BTJ is going to get open, okay? And he does. These guys get confused, and now BTJ is wide open. It's kind of hard since we're doing it in slow motion, but this ball is just coming way too hot, okay? It's humming, all right? And you got to get your hands up quicker. You got to make this catch. And the reason why you got to take a little off this ball is if the ball is too hot, that ball oftentimes pops up. And if they had a deep safety on this play, they would have just been able to walk right into a pick. So, I would take a little bit off of it. It's still a drop, but once again, a little too hard. Third down here, we get a good snap. The last play of the game was a bad snap, way over the head of GARRETT NUSSMEIER. We also get Cardell in this game. We're not going to show you the final series just for time reasons. So we get a good snap. So Turner had 2-ish high snaps, one that went over GARRETT NUSSMEIER's head. It's okay. We actually protect this really well. Mashburn gets a great chip on this end. We put him on his butt. Good stuff. So now we're picking this up. All right. Nuss is reading this. And you do have underneath here to Mashburn, but it's 3rd and 9. We need to get all the yards here. Better job by Doomerville on this end. Getting away, maybe a little hold there, but who cares? Cardell, good job picking this up. Okay, so we're picking this up well, and we're getting what we want. Nuss rolling out to the right on a 3rd and 9. A lot of yards to gain. So this is where you want Nuss. You really want to take a chance here. You don't want to hit your underneath route. We need the first down. Okay? So we're rolling out to the right. All right. Nuss throws on his off foot. And this ball is a missile. Okay? A missile that is eventually dropped by BTJ. Okay? The ball's coming so hard, it's really hard to see it, but it's a drop. Okay? Oh, man. That's tough. That is a tough drop. Okay? A few interesting things to note after this drop, though. Can we move ahead to right here? Okay. BTJ coming to the sideline. Normally, Nuss will come up to the receiver and console him and say, hey, it's okay, man. It's okay if you drop it. This was a very interesting thing here at the end. I don't care if you disagree with them. I'm very critical of Ed Orgeron on this channel because obviously what we're going through right now. But when you sign the dotted line to play for the university, to play for the head coach, and he's trying to console you, and he's trying to talk to you, and you acknowledge it, go to him, talk to him. Now, I don't know what was said here. But if this actually happens, we don't get the handshake here. It wasn't necessarily a blow-off per se. I know you're a true freshman. I know you're only 18 years old. I know you got the drop, and Nuss missed you earlier on an open potential touchdown. You always talk to the coach, the head coach. If he comes to you, you talk to him, okay? So the thing that concerns me about that is hopefully that's not an underlying issue. I hope the team still does believe in Ed Orgeron, even though if the fans don't, hopefully the players do, so we can hopefully turn this season around. Anyway, obviously the focus of today's video is GARRETT NUSSMEIER. We also touched on a bunch of different topics and other players and Corey Kiner and Armani Goodwin, but now, this is the most important question. Who should the quarterback be? It's interesting. We actually started this video off with a photo of Myles Brennan. It's obviously very interesting because, he threw a pass or two in warm-ups and, we see him on the sideline. How quickly can he come back? I don't know. Look, like we said at the beginning of the video, you can't just look at GARRETT NUSSMEIER's stats, but you do have to factor in that he was 3 of 9 for 19 yards and a QBR of 3.8. 46.5, which obviously isn't good, but his sample is obviously extremely small, and his QBR is hurt, of course, due to the level of opposition. The more important stat, though, is Max Johnson's QBR, okay? And this is where analytics begin to take its shape. Now, we all have our personal preference of which stats are the most important when it comes to evaluating a quarterback. Some of you think it's just touchdowns. Some of you think it's interceptions or yards per game. I like QBR the best, especially at the college level, because what QBR takes into account is the level of opposition. And up to this point, Max Johnson has yet in a start to put up a QBR north of 70, which isn't great. A lot of his QBRs hover around the 60s and 50 range, and this performance against McNeese State was below 50. And you're probably wondering, what does this mean? This is just some stupid ESPN crap stat, 45.2. I want you to hear what my buddy NFL Tej on Twitter has to say about QBR, and it's going to open your eyes why this 45 number is very concerning.
So let's say there's a quarterback who has a QBR of 75 for this game, right? That means other quarterbacks that have a QBR of 75 win about 75% of the time. So basically, if you have a QBR of 75, that basically means you have a 75% chance to have won that game, not taking into account anything else like defense or special teams or anything like that.
So take what you just learned from Tej and now add it to simple logic here. 45.2 means LSU, if they didn't have elite special teams, which they did with Cade York in this game, if they didn't have elite defense, which LSU's defense, while there are some scheme issues in that McNeese game, still they were dominant. You take that away. You also take Kayshon Boutte away, and you surround Max Johnson just with average baseline performers. Against McNeese State, his performance would have put LSU in less than a coin flips chance situation of actually winning that game. Okay? Now, once again, while I love QBR, it is my favorite QB stat in college, you still have to watch the film. And, Max Johnson's film against Florida was a lot better than the QBR that was, calculated for him. But still, you take that away and you look at all the QBRs, and at this point, Max hasn't really been a difference maker in this statistic. Now, why is that 64 number very relevant? Well, let's take a look at all the college football quarterbacks from last season. So Max's QBR against UCLA was 64.5, which is okay. It's actually, to me, a little bit better than what his actual performance actually was, but still, 64.5 was his highest number in his career. There were 50 starters last year in college football that had an overall QBR of 66.1. 50, okay? So, in other words, that means you're pretty average compared to other college football quarterbacks. And once again, Max Johnson's still very early in his development, but, this is LSU. You don't want an average starter. We want someone that could go out there and win us a national championship, right? So that's why those QBR numbers are very interesting, because it does adjust for, ability of your opposition. And that's why that 45.2 number was not great at all. Okay? And Garrett Nussmeier's not the starter. So, if you look at his QBR 3.5, it's a little misleading. Okay? Because there are some things you saw today that could be easily fixed, okay? Such as the first drive. Sometimes you can't just look at throws. You got to look at the film and see if he actually makes the right decisions. And on his first 5 throws, he made the right decision on 2 of them. You also do have to take into account his spring game performance, where he made 3 really bad interceptions. In other words, they were throws directly to people. 2 of them were, in particular, directly to players. So, obviously, the decision-making aspect of Garrett Nussmeier's game is not there yet. However, it is very important. We don't have the advanced charting yet from SEC StatCat. It is interesting, though, that his throws have more zip. His game has more juice. He is, just based on the eye test, probably a better runner than Max Johnson. And, as many of you know, Max's weakness is delivering the football 20 yards down the field or more. Obviously, more air yards with Garrett Nussmeier just based on the eye test. So, those are all very important subjective things to take into account. And obviously, Garrett Nussmeier was playing with a lot of backup offensive linemen, but at the same time, he was going up against a really tired McNeese State defense. Should he start the Central Michigan game? Absolutely not. Okay, you do have to factor in the stats. It wasn't like he just shredded McNeese State's defense. You do have to factor in that, once again, he is a true freshman, and I don't like starting true freshmen. But right now, Max Johnson is not playing well. And if we get another static performance with inconsistent ball handling, inconsistent overall play, it's time to start Garrett Nussmeier. I would give it a long leash, though. I really would. I just, Max is still a very winnable quarterback. Very winnable. Now, with that said, if he would have made an extra throw or two versus UCLA, even as bad as LSU's defense was in that game, they would have had a better opportunity to win that game, and they very well could have won that game because Max did miss a few touchdowns in that game. So, yeah, it's a very interesting thing. I just don't think Garrett Nussmeier is a guy for right now, especially going into the Central Michigan game. I would still give it to Max. I still would. Now, with that said, my thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier have pretty much remained the same, okay? One thing we could see even in his misses, he is extremely accurate. He really is. And it makes a lot of sense. We're talking about a guy who had the highest completion percentage of any senior high school quarterback ever to come to LSU, ever. And that's really impressive considering the level of competition that he played. So, yeah, he's good. He's really good. His ceiling is higher than Max's ceiling, if that also makes sense. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're the better quarterback, and it doesn't mean you're the better quarterback right now. Max Johnson is still your QB1. If he comes out here and lights it up against Central Michigan, that's something we would obviously like to see. So we'll obviously see what happens there. Wide receivers need to clean up the drops. That's one thing. Pass protection does need to get better. We do need to get more creative in the running game. We'll see what happens moving forward, but, still, I still stand by it. I think Max Johnson, of course, is your guy. Obviously, you guys might think differently. That's why the comment section is wide open. Let me know what you guys think about who the starting quarterback should be for LSU. Now, I'm getting a lot of messages about the John Emery situation. I'll discuss it in tomorrow's video or tomorrow's live stream, so make sure you tune in for that. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! What are we doing tonight? I think we're doing some pork chops. Let's go.